in the heart of Europe, between the silver rivers of Austria and the deep forests of Germany, there stood a shining kingdom called Velmora. Its grand castle overlooked the blue waters of Lake Liris, and its markets were filled with spices from Venice and fine silks from Paris. King Leopold of Velmora was a proud ruler. Though wise in politics and powerful in battle, he had one weakness: he loved to be praised. The king had 3 daughters: Princess Adelina the eldest, clever and graceful; Princess Beatrix, the middle one, charming and ambitious; Princess Alara, the youngest, gentle and thoughtful. One winter evening, as snow drifted down from the northern winds of Switzerland, King Leopold called his daughters into the great hall. "My dear daughters," he declared, "seated beneath golden chandeliers crafted in Prague, tell me how much you love your father, for I wish to know whose heart beats truest." Princess Adelina stepped forward first. "Father, I love you more than all the gold in the royal vaults of Vienna." The king smiled proudly. Princess Beatrix curtsied next. "I love you more than the sweetest chocolates of Brussels, and more than the finest music played in Salzburg." The court applauded. Then it was Princess Alara's turn. She looked at her father with honest eyes and said softly, "Father, I love you as much as salt." The hall fell silent. "Salt," King Leopold thundered. "Salt is plain and common. It is traded in sacks through the markets of Warsaw and stored in damp cellars. How dare you compare your king to something so ordinary?" Despite her tears, Alara tried to explain. "Father, without salt, even the richest feast tastes dull. It preserves, it protects, and it gives life flavor." But the king's pride blinded him. In anger, he banished Princess Alara from Velmora. Princess Alara wandered through the snowy passes of the Alps and crossed valleys stretching toward Italy. Hungry and alone, she reached the coastal kingdom of Mavravel, near the sparkling shores of the Mediterranean Sea. There, disguised as a simple kitchen maid, she worked in the grand palace of Queen Isabel. One evening, a royal banquet was held for visiting nobles from Budapest and Madrid. Alara was tasked with preparing the grand feast. As she cooked, she remembered her father's anger. With a heavy heart but guided by wisdom, she prepared the most magnificent dishes, yet added no salt. The banquet began. The roasted meats were bland. The soups tasted flat. Even the fresh bread seemed lifeless. The guests whispered in confusion. Queen Isolde tasted the food and frowned. "What is missing?" Alara stepped forward and quietly placed a small silver bowl of salt on the table. The queen sprinkled some onto her plate. Instantly, the flavors bloomed. "It was salt," she declared. "Such a small thing, yet so powerful." News of the strange banquet reached King Leopold in Velmora. Curious and troubled, he traveled across lands, past Munich and along the Danube River, to visit Mavravel. When he arrived, Queen Isolde served him the same meal first, without salt. King Leopold grimaced. "What foolish cook has ruined such fine ingredients?" Alara entered the hall, no longer dressed as a maid, but in a simple silver gown. "Father, she said gently. "This is how love feels without salt." The king froze. She placed a pinch of salt on his plate. He tasted a grand understanding, washed over him like spring thaw over the valleys of Hungary. "My child," he whispered, tears forming, "I see now salt is humble, yet essential, as your love has always been." He embraced Princess Alara before the entire court. Princess Alara returned to Velmora, not as the forgotten daughter, but as the wisest of the three. From that day on, King Leopold never asked for grand words again. Instead, he looked for quiet loyalty and steady love. And in the markets of Velmora, where salt was once considered common, it was now called the Crystal of Truth. And so, between the forests of Germany and the mountains of Austria, the story of the princess and the salt was told for generations, reminding all that the simplest things often hold the greatest power.
If you enjoyed this story, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one.